down the hammer and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
So in a situation like this, when you're dealing with a potential seller, may it be a washed-up landlord or anyone, you've got to dial in on what is their pain point. What are they trying to do? They're fishing. So this deal that you brought me, it's retail, above retail. It's not even, so the only way is that you got to convert this guy into reality, which you can do it with a slam punch or you could do it casually, but you got to figure out, like when I try to dial in on old landlords, I get to you know, I take several approaches. One, hey, I'm new to the game and I want you to show me the ropes. Show me the ropes. You get emotional. You bring them down to reality. Because if you start asking the right questions, like I wouldn't come up with this question, but like, how do you ride at 75,000? But like, show me, Mr. Landlord, what deems you at 75. Teach me so I can be a better investor. See, now you're dropping the wall. And then he's going to come to realization on his own that he's overpriced. And so, but that's just because he's taken a liking to you, not because you called him or he called you off of a bandit sign, and that makes you have reputable respect or relationship with him. So your question is, how often do I contact him? I would contact him all the time. I would contact him once a week. Hey, I'm ready to buy your house, but 75 is way too high. And like, you could build that relationship of camaraderie and be funny, or bring them, you get with a great realtor and get comps and mail them comps. You've got to bring the truth to him, but you got to stop and think, what's behind the mask? What is he trying to do? Why did he come up with that price? He's obviously fishing. He bought the house so many years ago, whatever it was, and then he bought it for $35,000. I don't know how many years ago, but it's only worth $45,000. He should be thankful at $10,000. But what I see is that he's trying to jump on the crazy, sexy real estate bandwagon. Let's take advantage of everybody and abuse them in price. And the thing is, he won't sell it for $75,000 because it has no central heat and air. It's got window units. It's frame. It's deferred maintenance. He's got a ghetto tenant in there dropping on the grass. You know, he's just going to wait it out because you got to think about, where is he coming from? He's got $35,000. He's got nothing going on in his life. He's got 20 houses, fooling around. He sees your bandit sign. He calls you. He's a time waster. Now you can just get his freaking address and start blasting him with yellow letters and with your face on him and show him that you're a player and that you want to learn from him. And then you got to bring him to reality. But over time, he'll sell the property, or maybe not, or maybe he's got nothing going on in his life and he just wants to waste a bunch of time with a bunch of people. But, you know, how can he buy it for $35,000? And nothing appreciates at double within a certain amount of time. I'd have to go back and look at when the house was sold. And it doesn't look like he put a lot of money in it. 10 years ago? 2010 is when he bought it, so 9 years ago. 10 years ago. So maybe he's just tired of renting it. He's probably, like you said, he's probably is a washed up landlord. But you got to figure out, you got to bring him into reality. You might want to start playing on his ego. Like, here's the questions I would ask. How'd you get into the game? How'd you find this property? Can you teach me? I'm looking for a mentor. Find out what everyone has, a 5 hierarchy of needs of fulfillment from Maslow. Tony Robbins, 6 needs of whatever the F it is. The thing is like, people want security. What's the security? Hey, I'll own or finance that at $75,000, but it doesn't make any money at $750,000. Maybe he'll own it. Maybe make him an offer. What if I give you $400 a month and I'll deal with it? That means you'll probably make $100 cash flow. You know, what if you offered him $400 for 2 years or 10 years, 8 years is what I would offer him. So do the math. Let's just do it this way. 40. Let's just say the house is $50,000. That's $5,000 over what I would pay. $50,000 divided by $400 a month equals 125 months. 10 years. So offer him 10 years. What if I just straight up say that by text message? What's the worst thing the guy could say? No. But you got to find out where the main goal of this conversation is. Where is his pain point? What and how can you accentuate that? Like, how can you smash it? or how can you alleviate it? There's the two ways. Either most high detailed C people that are in my world, they're only motivated by pain. C's are motivated by pain. They have a pain of something. Pain of not having, or pain of doing, or they're going to lose something. Woo, come on, put me on the radio. They're going to lose their job. All of a sudden they start doing their job. Or there's a pain involved. What's the pain? Accentuate the pain. Hey, can I see the house? Or reverse it this way. I'll pay $75 and go walk it and call him out. You won't show it because he's in another world. It's a game, and the game is elevated in 2020. So you got to figure out what the game is. Figure out what this guy. And here's another way: somebody that has 20 properties, come across like you can buy them all, or let's just do 5 at a time. Right? You got to find out what their motivation is. And your goal as a real estate investor, you only buy property that are distressed property. Unless you're at another level of a real estate investor where you have unlimited cash and you need small returns, which you might as well buy commercial, you need to buy distressed property. Obviously, quickly, this is not a distressed property. It's a cash flowing property. Because why? Because he said this and memorize this. I'll sell it for $75. I'm getting $750 rent on it. That's a 1% dumb, okay? Because that's not 1% because of taxes and insurance, okay? So you got to dial in, find out what his motivation is, either exploit it, explode it, solve it, heal it, fix it, become his lackey, whatever it takes, get in the game and build a relationship with him. And you'll just prosper. You just never know. Have you thought about property management? How often are you working on this? Does he have a day job? How long has he been doing it? He's obviously owned this property for 10 years. Really spend time. Take all of his properties, hire a VA, put all of his properties in a spreadsheet. If you wanted to be gangster, this is how I operate. Put all of his properties in a spreadsheet, and then I can really dial in on how he operated. Like, when was his first property? How many years? Do a timeline on the guy. Okay, like Steve Van Kallenberg, when I only bought 4 properties my first year, and then my second year only bought, and then all of a sudden I bought 30, 40 in one year. Well, is he at that level? Is he playing? Does he have a second job? Does he have a third? Is he married? Is he divorced? Does he have kids? Is he going to will them to the kids? Does he want cash flow? These are the things that run through my mind when I make offers and how I dial in on my communication to him. Like earlier today, I was showing a rookie real estate investor how to talk to a baller realtor. This baller realtor was superstar, has contracts with FHA. And so I had to talk to her in a way that makes her become my friend as quick as possible, because I'm looking for information. And I spent 10 minutes on the phone with her, which normally she just hangs up on people, because no one takes the time to respect that person where they come from. If you know when he started buying houses, and you know how many houses he has, and you know where he came from, and you know his job, and you know his position, then you can learn to talk to him better. But most people are selfish. They come across, ask, I want property, I want property, I want property. What are you going to do for me? What are you going to do for me? Like you do, you come across like, how could I serve you? How could we make this work? I noticed that you did call my sign. You're not really motivated because the price that you're asking me, the price that you're trying to get me to, are we playing a game here? Because I just want to buy property. I just sold 4 or 5 houses. I have liquid cash. My partner had just got funded. He just sold his apartment building. He's got, $500,000 in K. We're ready to roll. I just don't want to waste your time. Boom, he'll change his tone real quick. But you're playing cat and mouse with the guy because the rent's $750. That doesn't mean he can freaking sell the property. What drugs is you? And then what you're thinking, oh, I know someone that buys 1%. You're lost in your own mind. You're going to waste around, spend 6 days, 6 months with this dude to convince him so you can go make $2,000 assignment fee for somebody in California? No, that's not how you do it. You are a real estate investor. You freaking get smart and you figure out how to convert this dude. How do you turn him out? Turn him out to produce. There's so many ways that you can take him. You just got to figure it out. Any other questions? Okay, great question. How do I get someone to tell me why they're selling? What's their motivation? Now, I'm a very impatient person. Have you guys figured that out? I don't understand. Like, I think that I'm not impatient, but I am impatient. And so what you need to do is that you got to be patient. The scripts that are out there are pretty powerful. You get them asking questions. What are you going to do when you sell this property? So in this case, on this guy, it's like, why are you selling? They'll lie at first. And then what are you going to do with the proceeds? That's a sensitive issue because some people get perturbed by it. Like, oh, well, some people just want to go on vacation. Well, how much is a vacation? 5,000, 10,000? Dude, over 10,000, you're like, that's Disney cruise style, right? So 5,000 is a pretty decent vacation. Would you guys agree with me? 5,000? 10,000, we're going VIP somewhere, right? Well, sir, what if I give you $10,000 so you can go on your vacation and I can take over payments? Or 5,000? You got to find out. That's the only way you're going to find out their motivation is by asking questions. Is this, is it in their family? Like the one, I was talking to somebody else the other day that they bought their house for their mom, and it didn't work out for some reason. The only way you're going to find someone's motivation is by asking them questions. It is difficult, but you got to ask a series of questions to get nuggets to capitalize on those nuggets later. It shouldn't be hard. Like, what made you buy this house in this neighborhood? Is this a good neighborhood? Is this a bad neighborhood? And these questions that you're asking me, you can Google them up, how to ask questions on how to find a distressed seller, or how to convert their Google up, how to find someone's motivation. Like, here's the cool thing. Well, it's easy for me to give my own examples, but like I go through seasons of life, right? Everyone goes through seasons, but right now, I sold a house the other day. Why did I sell that house? Because I don't want to deal with it right now. It needed a real rehab. I didn't want to. Some people need $20,000 cash. I just don't want headaches. So I'm the best person to buy property from because I might lower my price every 5 minutes because I want to get rid of it. It's like I blasted that house out. One guy was interested. One guy says no. One guy, and 2 weeks later, the dude calls me back. It's already sold, dummy. Because you just don't know anyone's motivation. And the one thing that I learned, don't assume anything, and don't assume that what they say is actually what they mean. Meaning, I want to sell this property because I want to remodel my house. No, they want to sell this property because they're getting sued. Or I want to sell this property because I don't want my wife to have it. Or I don't need any assets, or I've been behind on my taxes and I'm about to lose it, or I'm about to go into a nursing home, or my mother is, and we don't want to have the tax burden if she converts it over to me and gives it to me. You see what I'm saying? That people lie on the front end. I just assume everybody lies on the front end. I always just verify what they're saying over time through the conversation. And you can ask the same question in just different variables. So that's how I would define how to find their motivational press. But here's the interesting thing. They called you off of bandit sign, so they have some interest. That doesn't mean that they're fully for sale. Now, the interesting thing, he already said in his mind that he's like, I'm calling you before I do what? Well, we can solve your problem right now, sir, by saving 6% and dealing with a realtor, or we can do a fast closing right now. Well, what do you really want out of this transaction? I just don't, I've just sold my apartment building with my partner and we have $500,000 cash. We can actually just close you out completely. Now, that's a little abrasive saying the word close out, but hey, we can solve your problems right now and we can take off 3 or 4 of them. Or you could be real forthright, a young millennial, and say, look, I just nicely just looked you up and I noticed that you have several houses. Would you consider selling those? Put in his mind that you're a buyer. And now what I also say too, I'm also, I try to wind the conversation to, you're not my only person I'm selling to. Just like you're in high school. You're not my only prom date. I want to go with you. You need to reply to me, or I may have to consider somebody else. So that's where you need to kind of like, hey, I do this all day. This is my job. I'm a real estate investor, or in this case, you are an acquisition manager, or whatever title you want to put on. But my job is to buy property. I buy them for myself, and sometimes when I don't, my partner buys them. In worst case scenario, we close, and because we say what we say we're going to do, we're going to buy it for that price, and then we may sell it to another investor in our group of investor groups. But my job, why I'm here on this earth today in 2020, is to acquire this property, and I hope and pray that you would be the guy for me. And if not, no big deal. Take my number and call me back, because I can close. You can call all these other little outfits out there, and they're going to hem and haw and beat you up on the repairs. I'm giving you a solid price. I can get it done. I have a proven check record, and I want to work with you. So you got to extrude confidence, and that maybe that to build confidence is through role playing, asking questions, back and forth. Find a friend at your level and start beating each other up on objections. Like I said that on a podcast not too long ago. Dude, you guys need to freaking write down every objective that they could see. Like, oh, it was private money, my private money seminar. The thing is like, you got to like, well, how do I do? Well, what's a self-directed IRA? Well, you can't raise money if you don't know what a freaking self-directed IRA is. You got to understand. You got to Google it up, dude. Like, don't just expect people are just going to open their pocketbook and throw money at your way because you're good looking. Right? You got to understand the how do you convert a self-directed? Did you know? Can you roll it over? Do you know that? How can you do? What's a custodial? Tell me what a custodial is. You got to know the same language if you're going to raise private money. You got to know this. If you're going to be a real estate investor, you better know the terminology. You better know what a HUD is. You better know how to close it. What's earnest money? How much money is a good earnest money that should you put down? All these things should be. How can you do it? There you go. That's it. That's why you're successful, because you don't even leave it to chance. You go buy an audiobook on it, you put it on 30, 40 speed, knock it out 5 times, go to the gym and read that book 4 times, and you got to memorize. That's how you be successful. Oh, they just think Googling it up is going to do it. You're going to get this stuff inside of your bloodstream. You got to be like, when I called that realtor, I have not called a realtor in probably 5 years, but I'm trying to help this young real estate investor become a superstar. And I'm like, you want to handle it? I'm going to handle it. I have no idea what I'm going to tell this girl. I have no script in front of me, but I just work on the stuff that I have put in my body through education, personal development, Dale Carnegie, how to win friends and influence people. If you listen to that conversation, I should have recorded it. How many times did I say that chick's name? How many times did I say, you are good at what you do? Wow, you have a contract with Fannie Mae? Wow, you see, these are all techniques that I have learned by spending hours and hours reading personal development. The greatest name you could ever say is someone else's name. Not my name. I'm not telling, yeah, I had to drop some nuggets who I am, but the reality is I tried to bring, I knew she was an older person. So I was like, remember when houses, and she started going off. Yeah, all these people are going to be in 6 months, 6 years, they're going to call me back, and these are going to be foreclosures, and she's going to be back in business. And I made a comment like this, oh, it must be good to be a realtor right now. But she knows she's been in through several seasons, and I brought that to attention that I'm 20 years in the game. I've seen this cycle happen again. You see, I connected with her age. I connected with her with the stature of being in the real estate game. But you can also do that. You don't even have to be in the game 20 years. I do this with banks real easily. I have no experience in banks, but I know how to talk to them. I know exactly what a quota is. I know exactly what the ratios are. And guess what conversations we have? Ratios and other investors and what's open on the market. What's the Fed rate? How does it work? Who else watches the Fed rate? I watch the Fed rate. No other investor watches the Fed rate. No other investor understands what happens when the Fed rate changes, how it is detrimental to a bank. Or does any other investor know how a bank actually freaking makes money? I promise you, if I ask that question right now, half the people wouldn't even know how a bank makes money. Oh, they make it off of interest. No, they don't. They make it off of servicing loans. Most banks, big banks, sell loans and they package them. Small banks also do participation loans, but they really want the repeat business on deposits. The more deposits that they make, the more money they can loan out. Welcome to the world of savvy investors. I'm so glad you tuned in. This is how we do it today. Raw, R-A-W.
Broke? Just tired of making chump change? Learn how to improve your income and build wealth with real estate investing. Investor Weekend is here to help you do just that. Join us for a powerful, knowledge-packed weekend that is bound to enlarge your real estate investments. What can you expect to get from the Investor Weekend? Hear great national and local real estate investors. Learn how to buy rental property, build wealth, and connect with other like-minded people for funding, partnerships, and even hot deals. Whether you're a seasoned investor or never purchased a property before, you don't want to miss the Investor Weekend. Right now, only $98. Go to www.investorweekend.com now to register or to find out more.
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at savvyradioshow.com. Connect on Twitter at Landlord Book and always be buying assets.